data format in database. All right, or databases. All right, yeah, so this round, our first round about the data format, let me just give you a general overview. Because second round, I will talk about more details. So the first round, I may not get into too much details. Two parts, when we talk about data format, there are two types. The first one, traditional data format. Second, non-traditional. So traditional, that's about the relational. So the data format used in the relational DBMS. Okay, yeah, so that's the corresponding to R relational DBMS. Okay, yeah, the traditional. All right, most popular, because in the current business world, most of the applications use traditional databases. Non-traditional, a small portion, okay? A small portion, yeah. So we will talk about that next slide, non-traditional DBMS. So this is most popular one. Although it's very old, yeah, but still, most of business running on traditional DBMS. Yeah. All right. For the most commonly used data, these two types, textual or numeric, these two types. Yeah. The string values and the numerical values, yeah. These two types, yeah. Most commonly used, but there are some other rarely used data types. Here, from our first database example, so I post that script, animaldb.sql. So after you download, you can use a text editor, so you can look at the scripts, the content. One table definition and one insert, this one. So I copy the insert statement here, so you can see the data part. Yeah. Other than the table definition, we also need the data part. So all the data here. Yeah. From this example, this insert SQL statement, you can see we use two types of data, textual and numeric. Numeric, when we talk about numeric data format, there are several. Integer, floating point, double, there are several. But in this example, we only use the integer data type. So you see, the first column, integers, the last column, integers. The middle column, textual, string, values. The first thing you see the difference. When we enter integer data values, we do not use quotes. Yeah. We do not use quotes. But when we enter string values, we use a pair of single quotes. Single quotes, double quotes, there is some difference. Yeah. So I will explain later. Yeah. So here, the single quotes. Single quotes is the SQL standard. SQL standard, we use single quotes. Double quotes, not a SQL standard, okay? But it could be supported by some of the DBMS. So double quotes, different from single quotes. Single quotes, SQL standard. All the DBMSs must support single quotes way to enter string values. Yeah. All right, so numerical values. First, you can see this difference. Yeah. All right. Then another small difference. Some of you may not pay attention, but I want to point it out. I want to point it out. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, let me delay a little bit. Let me talk about a few other types. Then I explain this point. Yeah. All right. Look at it. Other data types, multimedia data. Yeah. In our business applications, we may need to store multimedia data. Right? Yeah. So many applications, we need to use multimedia data. So typically, images, audios, videos, we need to store in our databases in some way, yeah, and we can use in our applications. Yeah. So the question, how to store multimedia data? Yeah, so we know the files for the multimedia data, they are binary files, right? Yeah, the binary file, not text files, binary files. If you look at the content, so the binary data, okay? So the question is, when we store the multimedia data, do we store binary content or textual content? Yeah, so let me answer this question first. Yeah. There is a way, in SQL, there is a SQL format storing the binary data. This one, capital B-L-O-B. Yeah. The meaning is binary large objects. So you can store the binary data directly in your databases. Now, you use this special data type, B-L-O-B, yeah. Blob, yeah. Capital. Yeah. That's the name of the data type. Okay, blob, the data type, blob data type. Okay, yeah, yeah. So if you want to do in this way, you can store binary data. Yeah. But we know usually it's not convenient to store and maintain binary data, right? Yeah. Because you do not know what's the content. When you see the binary format, you do not know the content, right? Yeah, nobody can recognize what's inside. You do not know it. Okay, yeah. So most of the time, so we do not want to store the binary data directly into our databases. Yeah, yeah. So we will use a different way to do it. Yeah. There are two possible ways. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the first part of binary store data directly. So this way. Okay. Yeah. First way. The first way actually rarely used. Although it's possible, but it is rarely used. Yeah. Yeah. Not convenient. The reason is not convenient. So most people use the second way. Now, much easier to manage the multimedia data. Yeah. So the second way is we use textual way. We use textual way to store multimedia data. So how to use textual way here? We store file paths because your multimedia data you store in your server. So for your real world application, you need to use server, right? So the multimedia data you store in your server, yeah, or in remote location, yeah, there is possible your multimedia store in remote location. Yeah. There is a server in other places. Stores in servers, all over the world. That's also possible. Okay, just some server, somewhere. Okay, yeah. Store file paths or URLs, links for the locations of your multimedia data. Yeah, that's textual. Okay. Yeah, the content is textual, link, hyperlinks, okay, yeah, yeah, in databases, and leave the data on hard drive of the server. This is the most commonly used way, very convenient. Okay, you can see the hyperlink. Okay, you can edit it. So if it's wrong, something is wrong, you can edit very convenient to manage. Textual references. Yeah, we know it's not the original data, so the references to the original data. Yeah, so very convenient. Yeah, so usually when we develop our web application, most of the time you use this way, yeah, to do it. Yeah, and for the first way, only when you have good reason, then you can use the first way. You have to justify it why you use the first way, right? Yeah. Yeah. If no reason, no special reason, then most people use the second way. Okay? Only so you can provide some, important reason, then you can choose the first, the binary way. Yeah. So here, so regarding this one, so here I have an idea. Yeah, so I want to talk about in our programming projects. So for this class, we have two standard projects. Okay, the first one, the second one, two standard projects. The first one I will post description quickly. Okay, yeah, sometime this weekend I will post the description of the first one. So the first one and the second one, then, yeah, because some students may like to do a little more in programming. Yeah, so I know there are some students, usually every semester there are some students, so they want to practice programming a little more. So I like to give those students an optional third project, programming project, optional. Yeah, so not standard, not required. Okay, optional third project. Yeah, so we want to, so here, optional third project. Okay. Yeah. So here I have some idea. Okay. Yeah. Because related to what we are discussing here about storing multimedia data. Okay. So I like to create a web application. So you can manage video resources, videos. Yeah. But video, you store the links of videos. Okay? Yeah. Videos, we know, we can use YouTube videos, right? Yeah. In YouTube, each video has a URL, right? Has some special ID or code. Okay? So the video, so some unique ID or code you can use, URL. So we store the video URLs from YouTube, for example. Yeah, for example, you can also, if you have other videos from different servers, you can also use. Yeah. So here I use YouTube as the example, to explain the idea. Yeah. So you want to manage your video resources through YouTube URLs. So you create your database. Okay. And then we want to search the content. Okay. So the keywords based search to find the video content, that project. Okay. So I have some idea about as the optional programming project. Okay. Now later I will talk more about this idea. So I try to add some interesting features in this optional project. So then in our classes, at the right time, I will talk about the idea of this optional project. All right. Yeah. So that's the traditional data format. Our first round understanding. Yeah. All right. Then, one thing I want to talk about at this point, so that is, so look at this insert statement here. All right, so here, for the string data, we use single quotes, right? So you see the single quotes, that symbol. Yeah. Then, if you look closely, what do we use here around the table name, field name, not single quotes, right? If you compare the symbols carefully, the symbols we use around table name, field names, not single quotes. So they are backticks, okay? Backticks on your keyboard. Keyboard, you can see the location different. Backticks, upper left corner, okay? Upper left corner, okay? Yeah. Single quotes, this location. So they're different. Their meaning different, okay? I want to explain what's the difference. The meaning is different. Yeah. Single quotes, you know the meaning, okay? Around the texture data, you need to mark. So your data as texture data, so you use single quotes. But the backticks, not for texture data, different. Yeah. So we use around table names and field names, table field names, for some special reason. There is a special reason we use. Yeah. So here I want to explain that, for what special reason we use. Yeah. We know in SQL, there are many keywords in SQL, right? Yeah. So here, there is a problem about SQL keywords. There are many SQL keywords. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Large number of SQL keywords, and most people cannot memorize those keywords. Yeah. So the question is, think about, if you happen to use a SQL keyword as the table name or the table field name, what would happen? Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, sometimes when you create your tables, yeah, based on your business requirements, based on your business, you need to use specific names for your tables or table fields. But those specific names happen to be the SQL keywords. If you do not tell the DBMS, do not understand those names as the SQL keywords, then you get a syntax error. Because DBMS will use the SQL keywords to understand this table. It does not make sense. So the DBMS will give you an error message. So your table definition is wrong if you put a SQL keyword there. Yeah. So how to tell the DBMS, this is not a SQL keyword. This is my table name. You just use its literal meaning. Do not understand it in the SQL keywords way. How do you do that? Use a pair of backticks to tell DBMS. A pair of backticks as DBMS. Yeah. Use the literal names, literal meaning. Do not use the keyword meaning, okay? Keyword, the special meaning. Use its literal meaning, okay? Yeah. Then you avoid syntax errors, okay? So this point is important. Yeah. So here, I give you that important point, okay? Yeah. Many little things you need to pay attention. Okay, all right, yeah. So let's move to the next slide. Data format for social media. Yeah. In recent 10-something years, the social media becomes very popular. Yeah. So large amount of data generated every day from the social media. So the question, what is the best way to store the social media data? Okay? Now, people want to get the best way to store the social media data. Yeah. So that's the data, the social media data has some important difference from our traditional data and the social media data. So we treat as non-traditional data. Yeah, so let me give you the main difference of non-traditional data and the traditional data. Okay? So the posts, tweets, images, video clips, so users post in the social media data, okay? Yeah. So first, the large amount of data amount. Yeah. So large, every day, every second. So new data generated every second, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Not just that. Yeah. Another is because after people post content in social media, then people want to make the content searchable, right? Hashtag, make the social media data searchable immediately, right? Hashtag, even put a hashtag. So you make your posts searchable immediately, right? Tweets, yeah. So that feature, that feature, you cannot get that feature from traditional relational databases. You cannot. Okay? Yeah. So for that reason, because we can, if you apply the traditional relational DBMS, you cannot make your social media data content searchable immediately after you post. No. Impossible. Yeah. In order to make your social media data searchable immediately, you have to use a non-traditional, new type of DBMS. Yeah. So that's the reason. Yeah. A new type of DBMS was created for this purpose. Yeah. Non-traditional DBMS. Non-relational. It's not relational DBMS, non-relational. Yeah. So let me give you a simple description about non-relational data. First, the structure of data must be very simple. The structure must be very simple. Yeah. If it's complicated, then it's hard to make it searchable immediately, right? Yeah. In order to make social media data searchable immediately, the structure of the data must be very simple. Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah. The posts, tweets, images, clips. Yeah. The structure is very simple. Yeah. We do not say content, we just say structure. The structure of the data is simple. Yeah. All right. So the structure can be described in this key value pairs. Key value pairs. This type of data we already use frequently in our programming. Okay? So in Java and in web application, people use key value pair type of data format frequently, all the time. So this is not a new type of data. Oh, sorry, I need to click some admit. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So for the social media data, we want to model the data, right? Yeah. So you want to represent the data. So you model the data. So what structure do you use to model the data? This simple structure, key value pairs. This way to model the data. So each data piece, there is a name for it. Okay? Yeah. The name of this data piece. Then corresponding this name, there is a value. Value is the content of your post. Okay? So your post, yeah. First, there is a name for that particular post. Yeah. Then people need to consume, need to, read the content of that data. So name of the data and the content of the data. Content, that's the value of the data. So this simple model, it is enough to represent all the social media data types. Yeah. All the social media data types, we use this simple format we can represent in a uniform way. Okay? Yeah. That's all we need. Okay? One data format we can cover all the social media data. In that way, we do not need to describe the social media data, right? Yeah, because this way, this is the only way. So no description needed. Okay. Yeah. So the non-traditional DBMS always take the data in this format. Then no data description. So that's the first property. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So the non-traditional databases, there is a name for it. NoSQL. No, N-O-S-Q-L. NoSQL. N-O means not only. Not only. Yeah. Yeah. Not only. Yeah. 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 The meaning. Yeah. 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 And here, people use these two types of DBMS. So the non-traditional DBMS is not created to replace traditional. No. Traditional still very popular. Most of the business applications still use the traditional data. And non-traditional typically used for special applications, small portion of business applications, typically social media type applications. So here you can see, yeah. So that's, not only SQL. Okay, all right. Yeah. But the reason why, if we use the simple structure, we can make the social media content searchable immediately. That question I delay, because that question I need to talk about how to do the data search. Yeah. So that's a big topic when I talk about how to search your data in a very fast way. Then I will explain more. Data search. Here we're talking about a big topic about the data search. So I will delay that. Okay. So when we get a more background knowledge, then we understand how to make the data search very efficient. We need some background. Okay. So let me delay that topic. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So relational databases. Yeah. And the non-traditional, much simpler. Structure-wise, much simpler. Okay? Yeah. Key value pairs. Yeah. Traditional, the structure very complicated. So we need to define so many different tables to describe the structure. So that's very complicated. Yeah. So non-traditional, so simple. Yeah. So we do not need any description. Just key value pairs. All we need. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Right. So structure very simple, but data amount is very large. A huge data amount. But how to make the huge data amount searchable? Yeah. So that's the main concern about the social media data. Yeah. Searchable. Yeah. Yeah. So I need to talk about Google search engine first. First, I want to talk about the basic ideas, basic algorithms behind Google search engine. That's the traditional. So data search using traditional data. Yeah. Google search engine, so that's not a non-traditional data. It's traditional data. Okay? Yeah. So in order to support the search engine, the cost is very expensive. The cost is very expensive. Yeah. So after we discuss Google search engine, then we can understand social media search much better. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Right. So supporting fast search. Yeah. How delay. Okay. So how we delay that. Yeah. So here there is a question mark. How to do it. Okay. How to do it. So we delay it. Okay. It's a big question. Big question. We need preparation to understand it. Yeah. All right, so relationship. Yeah. Not replacing traditional databases. Yeah. So some business, they use both types of databases, yeah, in one business application. Yeah. So their ordinary business data, they use the traditional data types, the traditional. But for some business, they also need to support social media connection, right? For the customer's relationship, they need to maintain connection with their customers. So they need to add a small block in their application supporting the social media type data. So they need to also use the NoSQL databases. All right. Augment traditional databases. So that's typically people use. All right. Yeah. All right. D.4 demo basic DBMS operations. Yeah. So here I want to show you. I will do some simple demo. Yeah. So then you can play around. Yeah. So let me look at the time I have. Yeah. All right. Examples. Yeah. The demo SQL statements. Yeah. Yeah. So after I talk about this slide, what I'm going to do. So there I will show you. You know, I use some two places. Yeah, I will do W3 School. There also at the same time my own database server. Yeah. I will show you some simple operations. Yeah. First one, create MySQL database. You need to create a new database. Yeah. So the command line, first you go to the command line, MySQL window, so you can type create database and the name of the database. Yeah. Straightforward, simple. Yeah. So that's the command line, okay? Yeah. But in a GUI interface, we just type the database name, we click create, then you create it. Yeah. So later I will show you. Create. So these two ways, command line way and the GUI way. Yeah. Both ways useful. Yeah. Think about when you write a program, in your program, if you want to create a new database, sometimes you may need to do that, okay? In your program, so Java program, PHP program, or other programs, you need to create a database. You only use this command line way, right? You send a command to the DBMS. You cannot use the GUI way, right? Yeah. So the command line way are very useful in programming. Database programming, it's useful. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Then in GUI, yeah. So here the interface. This interface I use the PHP MyAdmin. So this is the PHP MyAdmin interface. Yeah, later I will show you. Okay. Yeah. So here you can see database name. Yeah. So you enter the database name. Then you click create a button. Enter. Yeah. Yeah. But make sure your database name is different from your existing database names. It should be a new name. Then it is created. Otherwise, you get an error. So then you run database, and run the database script to populate the data. After you create a new database, it's empty, right? Yeah, it's empty. You get an empty database. But how do you get the content of the database? Yeah. So one faster way is you run a database script. Yeah. I'll give you the first example, animaldb.sql. That is the script you use to populate your animal database. Yeah, so in the demo, I will show you that. Okay, all right. Then, after we create, then we can run basic SQL operations. Okay, yeah, those 4 types, right? Retrieval, select statement, yeah. Insertion, insert statement in this syntax. Okay, yeah. Update, then update statement with this syntax. Yeah. Deletion, delete statement with this syntax. Yeah. 4 basic operations. So at the beginning, we just practice basic operations. Yeah. Later, so when we get more and more experience, so we will practice more and more complicated SQL queries. Yeah. So here, I want to, because in this semester, I want to let you do SQL practice as early as possible. Yeah, because based on my experience in previous a few semesters, yeah, some students, they may get a chance for job interviews related to the SQL queries. Yeah, as I remember, I got 2 students before. Yeah, yeah, in the middle of the semester, around the midterm, that time. Yeah. So they got a job interview. Yeah. In a job interview, they need to write SQL queries. Yeah. For the test. Do some, test. Yeah. Then they both passed and got a job offer. Yeah. So in order to prepare you for that, okay, around the midterm time, okay, yeah, as I remember, around that midterm, you should have some experience about SQL queries. Yeah. So we will start from today, after I show you the demo. Yeah. So every module, so we will practice some SQL queries. Yeah. All right. Here, let me show you the demo. So first I go to the W3 schools. Then, example, I will start my own MySQL server to run some simple command. All right. Yeah. So let me look at the time I have. Yeah. Yeah. I try to spend not too much time here. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So. Okay. Yeah. All right. First, W3 schools. All right. All right. So this page, W3 schools. First, we go to the right page. Right page, tutorials. So there are 2 related tabs. So I recommend the right one. There is a SQL one. Okay. Some of you may click the SQL tutorial, SQL tab. But that's not the best way for us, okay, for this class. SQL one, because the reason it may not use the MySQL, okay? Yeah. It uses SQL but different DBMS. Okay? Yeah. So this, because here you see there are several DBMS listed here. MySQL, SQL Server, MS Access, Oracle, Sybase, several. And if you do this SQL queries, it's very likely it uses the Microsoft MySQL Server. So the syntax, the format, it uses the Microsoft SQL Server. So that's different from MySQL we want to use in this class. Okay? Yeah. All right. So a better place to learn for this class, you need to go to this tab, MySQL tab. Click MySQL. Yeah. So that all the commands here, that's the MySQL commands. Right? So that's the right place. Yeah. Although the database is the same. Okay? Yeah. So both places, the experiment, testing data, the database, same. So that's the Microsoft database. Microsoft provide a provide a database example called Northwind. Northwind. Included in Microsoft Access and the Microsoft SQL Server as a sample database. So here, this place W3, it uses the same sample database from Microsoft. All right. Here, we also use this tutorial, MySQL tutorial. We also use that, Northwind. So here, so look at the name. Here, this is the name, Northwind. See? Northwind of the database. Okay. All right. So here, I want to show you something. When you use, I want to point out something, because you can do some hands-on practice. I may create some query questions regarding this database. So I can make some query questions, so you can do practice on this database. So this one here, so let me select this. Select. So if you want to practice, just select. Okay. So when you create this select part, look at this example. This example, you see there is a green button. Try it yourself. That means you can do practice. When you see the green button, you can practice by yourself. Okay. Now here, let me click this button. Try it yourself. Then you see here the SQL command window. You can enter the SQL command. Then the result window, you can see the result. Okay. All right. Here, right hand side, this column here, you see the database table information. Here you can see there are several, how many tables? There are 8 tables. Okay. Customers, categories, employees, and so on. 8 tables. The number of records in each table, you also see the number of records, so you get some idea. All right. When you click one table, then you can see the content. Okay. So here the content. Because the corresponding select SQL statement is executed, so you see the query result. Okay, so you can practice. Here, I want to make some simple command practice. I show you some simple command so you can see the actions. All right, so here, let me run some SQL. Very simple SQL commands. All right. Here, I use order details table. You can see the number of records here. See this number, 2,155. This many records, this many rows. This table, pretty big, 2,000 something rows. Okay, all right, so let me use this one. Play around to show you some simple command. Okay, all right. The first one, let me modify this command, this SQL command statement. Okay, all right. Where, when we use where clause, we can provide a condition. So we can narrow down. So many rows, we want to select some of the rows that satisfy certain condition. Okay, narrow down a little bit. Here, let me specify our condition. Okay, the business condition we want to put here. All right, look at the quantity. So here, the last column is a quantity column, many numbers. So let me write the quantity greater than 30. So I want to get all the rows with the quantity number strictly greater than 30. Okay, that's my condition. Then I click this Run SQL button. Then you see the query result, all the quantities greater than 30. Okay, yeah. How many of them? Here you see number of records 497. Still quite a lot. Okay, quite a lot. Yeah, but many times when we display data in our web application, think about it. Usually we need to display the customer data in our web applications. When you display, many times you may not want to display all your data on the same page because that page could be too big, right? So usually people want to do pagination feature. Pagination. So each page, you put a limited certain number of rows in one page. Then people can go page by page. So that's the pagination feature. Here, let me show you the query behind the pagination feature. Okay, all right. So here we use the MySQL keyword limit. This limit, we can do pagination feature. Limit, yeah, we only want to take a portion, a segment of the rows in our query result. So which segment? First, we need to specify the starting point. Which row you want to start, okay? Yeah, all right, so 100. Yeah. Here, the first parameter, I want to start from position number. Yeah, the first one we tell position number 100, okay? Index number 100, or you can understand index number 100, okay? Index, yeah. Actually, this 100 corresponds to the row 101, okay? 101, because the first row, the index is 0, okay? First row index 0. So 100 index, actually, you start from the row 101, okay? Then, how many rows on one page? You need to use the second parameter for it. Let's say 20 rows. 20 rows on one page, okay? Then click Run SQL. Then, so you only, this time you only get 20 rows, okay? Yeah, 20 rows, yeah. And the first row, that's the 101 row from the previous query, okay? Without that limit condition. Yeah, you get a 497 rows, yeah. So here, we get that portion. Yeah. So this is the way people do pagination feature in web applications. Okay, all right. So, and there is another one, another version. So here we use two parameters. The first one specify the starting point. The second one specify the page size, the number of rows on the page. Number of rows you want to retrieve from the database. But there is another version, single parameter. Yeah. So we remove the first one, limit 20. If you skip the first parameter, that means people use 0 as the first parameter, okay? Yeah, that's a version, yeah. Because then, if it's 0 as the first, you do not need to specify, okay? All right, so limit 20, that means you retrieve the first 20 rows in the previous, in the query without that limit part, limit condition part, okay? Yeah, so that's the first 20 rows. You start from 0, okay? Yeah, so one parameter way, yeah. So here I just show you some simple examples. Although this is a simple example, but one thing I want to point it out is this limit keyword is not available in Oracle, okay? So it's a MySQL specific keyword. We know for different DBMSs, the keywords could be different. Remember, yes, here I want to recall a little bit. Yeah. In one of our previous lectures, we talk about the SQL standard. The SQL in each DBMS, there are two parts, right? The standard SQL part So all DBMS should implement the standard features of SQL. But there is an extended part, extended SQL part. So then different DBMS vendors, they implement the extended part differently. Yeah. So this limit keyword, this limit feature, MySQL, that they put in this extended SQL part. Okay. So for other DBMS, they may not support this feature. Okay. So they have their own way to do the similar features. Yeah. Here, I just want to point, something specific out. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's this one. Yeah. Then another question here. Then because this is the W3 school, this place, yeah, W3 school. Yeah. When you do practice here, you have limitation. Okay, yeah. Because you use their server, no, W3, their DBMS server, database server. Yeah. So you have limitation. So what's the limitation? You can only do read-only operations. You cannot do write operation. You cannot modify the data. Okay. You can only use their data for read-only purpose. Okay? Yeah. But not write. If you want to change or if you want to add new data, you are not allowed. You do not have that permission to do that. Yeah. Here, let me show you. Yeah. So if we go to this, the MySQL part, look at the insert into statement. Insert into statement. Okay? Yeah. Insert into statement, you can add new data, right? In a SQL server, yeah, when you execute this command, you add a new data. Yeah. But you cannot do here. You cannot do in this place. Because when we move down this insert, under this example, you see example insert statement. There is no that green button, try it yourself, right? You are not allowed to try it, okay? There are no, when you see try it yourself, that green button, you can practice. You can do the hands-on practice. Yeah. Here, you cannot see that try it yourself button. You cannot do it, okay? All right. If you want to do it, look at this button, get your own SQL server. There you need to go through some complicated process. Register, I don't know if you need to pay the fee, you need to have some special account. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't try, okay? I don't need it. Yeah. So if you want to try, yeah, it's possible you may need to pay. So you may get some, if you get a free account, probably, there is some time limit. Okay? Yeah. 1 month free, something like that. Okay? Yeah. So if you're interested, you can try. But for this class, we will install our own DBMS. So we do not need to go that way. Okay? So we do not go that way. Okay? Yeah, we have our own database server running on our own laptop. Okay? All right. Here I just mentioned that. So you cannot, but before this class, actually, I did experiments. I tried that insert statement. Yeah, I want to see what would happen. Okay, so I can let you know. Okay, yeah. So because here we see the green button, right? Try it yourself. Okay, so actually our previous we already did that before. Yeah, in this window we did that. Here we can type command, right? Run SQL command. Yeah. Then, before this class, I enter the insert command. Okay. Yeah. I work on this. There is a shippers table. This is a small table. Okay. Yeah. Then I enter following the insert syntax. Insert into shippers. Then I enter some data, garbage data. Yeah. After I click the button Run SQL, I got an error message. The message I got, this is only the read-only version option. Yeah. So in this website, you can only do read-only option. You cannot do write operation. Okay? Yeah. So insert, update, you cannot do. Delete, you cannot do. Okay? You can only do select operation. Yeah. So just let you know. Okay? Yeah. If you want to do more operations, then we need to go to the exec to run our own database server. Now, let me do a few operations in the exec to show you. Okay? Yeah, because this is a demo. Let me use the remaining 10-something minutes to do a simple, quick demo on exec. Yeah. All right. To do that, I assume you have yeah, so here. Yeah. So you have successfully installed XAMPP. So we have this XAMPP control panel. So first, we start the control panel of XAMPP. Okay, so we see this window. All right. Then we need to start Apache server first, because we need to use the PHP MyAdmin web application to access our databases. So click this button first. So then you see it's running. Okay, no error message. Yeah. And the port running on this port 80. 80 is the default port. Okay, yeah. So it's running. Then the MySQL server, we click start button. So we also start MySQL server. Okay. Then the port number 3306. That's the port number. Because later when we need to access, sometimes we need to use this port number. Sometimes we don't need. Okay. Sometimes we need use this port number. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here everything is ready. So we can start. Access. Yeah. So here, yeah, let me bring up a web browser, yeah, to access. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Localhost. Yeah. So when you start, the server running Apache, it's the localhost. So let's go to the localhost. Localhost. The name of the server is the localhost. Okay. Yeah. Localhost. Enter. Yeah. There you see. Yeah. The welcome page. This is the welcome page of the localhost. See? Yeah. Then XAMPP Apache plus MariaDB I mentioned last time. Yeah. Because this version I installed in the spring semester. Yeah. Yeah. This semester I haven't installed the current version. Yeah. So I may try sometime later to see if this place it is changed, MariaDB, because we want to see MySQL, not MariaDB. Yeah. But here, don't worry, yeah, because I look at the document somewhere, it says the DBMS included is the MySQL version. It's not MariaDB. Okay, so we just ignore it. Yeah. So then you click PHP MyAdmin tab. You access this web application. Yeah. Takes quite long. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this interface, now you can manage, do some work on the MySQL database. Yeah. All right. So here the first time I just show you some simple command, okay, to get started. The first command we want to do, create a new database. Okay. Yeah. So I post the AnimalDB script. Yeah. So the first one, when you play around, you use that script. Yeah. So here I show you. Okay. Yeah. So here, click the databases tab, then you get the field. Enter a database name. So here, AnimalDB, because I already created the last time. So let me use a number 1 here, okay? Animal DB1 here. Yeah. So I need to type a different name because look at the left column. I already have animal DB. Yeah. I created it last semester. So here I add a 1 here, okay? I click create button, create button. Then you see animal DB1 is created, okay? Yeah, created. Yeah. All right. So then there is another thing I want to mention here. Yeah, let me put that at the bottom. Okay. Yeah. Block my, some useful area. Yeah. All right. Then another thing I want to point out is, all right, look at this top gray bar, database colon animal DB1. Look at that. Okay. This tells you this is the current database. Okay. All right. That means when you type a SQL command, here there is a SQL command window. You click the SQL tab, you can type SQL command. But when you type command, it uses the current database to execute your SQL commands. But if you change, you can change to different database. Let me click this old animal DB. Click it. Then I change the database. If I change the database, if I click the SQL tab, then if I enter SQL commands, then the DBMS will apply the SQL commands on this current database. Okay, yeah, that's different. Yeah, so that's one thing. So first you need to select your database. There is one step. Select the database you want to work on. Okay, yeah, there is one step. All right. So that here in MySQL, let me give you another way to select, the command line way. Okay, not click the tab, command line way. Yeah, because in your program, when you select different database, you cannot use click way, right? Yeah, think about it. When you write a program, you want to select different databases, you cannot do clicking, right? So you can only use the command way to select database. So that's the reason we need to know the command way to select different database. Yeah. Here, let me show you this is the MySQL way, okay? For different DBMS, the command is different. Yeah. The type use keyword. Okay. When you select different data, you use use keyword. Use database. Then your database name. Okay. So what's the name? Animal DB1. Okay. This is a command, SQL command. Click a go button to execute it. Go. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So let me edit. All right. Yeah. I may not need to enter. So yeah, you have error, syntax error. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So let me change it. Yeah. Syntax error. Okay. Yeah. Remove this database. Okay. Use. Yeah. Because use, we may not need this database. Okay. Just the database name. Yeah. So I couldn't memorize correctly. I just guess. Okay. Oh, it works. Okay. No error. Right. Yeah. Because when you use, it must be a database name, right? Why you put a database? Okay. Yeah. Use database name, but you don't need a database keyword. Okay. Because it assumes it's a database name. Yeah. All right. See. Oh, sorry. Use. Yeah. Return empty. Yeah. We don't need a result, but this. Why it does not change to my animal DB1? Huh? That's not quite right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I want to see this is selected. I want to see animal DB1 this is selected. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But here I just let you know the use command. Okay, use command to help us select. database. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we will almost run out of time. Let me just do one last thing to complete this demo. Okay. So what's the last thing? I have 3 minutes, so I use 2 minutes to complete this last thing. Okay. Yeah. What's that? I want to run the SQL command here on the MySQL window. Yeah. The command I want to run. Yeah. So let my animaldb.sql, the script, you use a text editor to, open the file, then you copy paste. You copy everything, okay? Control L, copy everything. Control C, yeah. All the lines. Yeah. Then here, Control V, paste everything here. Then we click button. So we execute all the commands in this file, go button. No error, see, no error. Then it's successful. Let's click this again. You see the table, survey result table is created, and click the browse button. You see the content of this table, okay? Yeah. So that's, simple way you can populate this database. Okay. Yeah. All right, let me stop right here. Yeah. So we cannot start module 2. Yeah. So we will start next time. But we finish module 1 part D. Yeah. Here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.